have some fun today because I'm going to walk you through some tips for WWE 2K24. Some of these things might be pretty obvious to you and it may not work for you, brother. But these are usually questions that come up a lot in the community, so hopefully this can help some of you out. If you end up enjoying this video, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button because that goes a long way to support us here. The first one has to do with Triple H, the game. We have the regular Triple H theme song in the game, but there's also the King of Kings theme. And a lot of players have asked me, well, where is it? I don't have it. Where can I get it? Or they say you're lying. I don't lie. Head over to create an entrance, select Triple H, and I will note that Triple H's D-Generation X entrance motion is in the game. We'll talk about DX in just a second here, but specifically for King of Kings theme, it is listed under entrance music and under the authority. Now you can bow down to the king. How do I get it? To get this authority theme, you simply need the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, because a lot of people have said that they can't find the theme song at all. Another thing to know with Triple H is 2K revealed a image of Triple H from his WrestleMania 30 entrance with the whole skull theme he got going on. That goes hand in hand with the WrestleMania 40 edition pack. The 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, the pack itself, the DLC, has not been confirmed for a release date yet by 2K, so it is going to come at a later point. This also gives you different superstars included, like Macho King Randy Savage from WrestleMania 6, Rey Mysterio, WrestleMania 22, Triple H, WrestleMania 30, like we mentioned, Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania 33, Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania 36. Those bonuses will all be in this pack, including WrestleMania 40. The official arena, the show, is going to be made available, but they haven't given us the details for the release date just yet. Mention D-Generation X for just a second. The DX theme song still not in the game this year. I am baffled. I don't get it. It was in last year, kind of. It's Shawn Michaels was in the DX theme and his entrance motion, and then Triple H wasn't. And then Triple H was for this year, but the theme song is not. And the Titantron is not. But other things are. I don't get it. Now, I could be wrong, because when the game came out, the Triple H DX entrance motion was in the game. I saw that day one, but Shawn Michaels was not. And this might have just been missed. Maybe it was there all along. But I think in the latest patch, this did slide its way in here. So Shawn Michaels' D-Generation X entrance motion is once again in the game. The theme song, still not there. So if you want to get yourself halfway with DX for the entrances, you can do that. And the only other piece of DX that you can apply here for the entrance is going to be stage and ramp, and you can select D-Generation X. 2K, if you're listening, you're probably not, but we probably should get this in here along with the tag team entrance. It's a small detail, it's a small thing, but it's been years now. I don't understand what's going on. Brock Lesnar is also in the same situation. Now, Brock is in the 2K24 showcase. To complete these matches though, Brock, you can't unlock him. You'll get the WrestleMania arenas though. But if you search online, you're gonna find a number of creators that have posted different versions of Brock Lesnar. Witty the G is one of them if you wanna be able to look him up. Go into the most downloaded tab at Brock Lesnar as a hashtag, and you're bound to run across a different version of Brock. Will 2K ever unlock Brock Lesnar and put him back in the game? Comment below, let me know what you think. My guess is no, but I really don't think this is a call by 2K. This would be a WWE call. So until WWE says it's okay for him to be back and advertised and, you know, used for marketing or anything like that through WWE itself, then 2K might consider it, but it could also be one of the last times we ever see Brock Lesnar in a WWE game. But what about things like, you got too many downloads. You did a lot. You downloaded every custom thing under the sun in the first month. You're super excited, and then you realize you got a 100k limit and you got a 1,000 logo limit, and the thing is telling you you've got 20 megabytes available, then the game crashes and then you start all over again. To keep things clean and organized like Matt does on a regular basis, head over to Deletion Utility. Here you will be able to delete everything that is in your game. From the custom superstars, the stitches, the championships, universe mode, my GM saves, logos, you will be able to delete everything individually. The only times you cannot delete something individually, like a championship, is if it's going to be already in a save universe mode, for example. So you need to delete that championship out of universe mode, remove it from there, or delete universe mode for that save slot, and then you can delete the saved items or the saved wrestlers. But I do encourage you to go through this once in a while to free up some space, especially when it comes to custom images. Usually that's going to get really intense for people. You can select Y or triangle on the controller so that you can delete all the unused images that are in the files. Now, another thing that people often talk about has to do with rendered images and alt attires for wrestlers and superstars in the game. Head over to Community Creations and select Sign In Image category. Download any image that you want from any of your favorite creators. I like Big Chris Spirito. He's one of my favorites because he's got awesome HD rendered images and just a huge catalog of content in there for you to download. If we get a custom superstar like this one from Rebel Cause, we have Sting. We download our version of Sting. We head over to Edit Superstar, go to Personal Information, and then hit Custom Images and what is set by default. Here you will see all of the saved images that you have available. Hit save and apply it to the current roster as well as your universe mode save, so it applies there too. And you could do this when you have regular in-game superstars, but you want to modify a current attire and then you want to apply a custom rendered image for them. So for example, if I just have R-Truth, you go into personal information, it says use as an alt attire, select no, and then you could choose a different R-Truth rendered image, modify the attire how you like, and that way that will be a new slot for R-Truth. Okay, the next one is going to be spectating a match. I really enjoy spectating matches in the game. I like being able to get all the different camera cuts and go really wild with it. And it's fun for universe mode too, because you want to simulate a lot of stuff. But one of the things that you got to note is that with the camera options that pop up, if you spectate a match, you will have the B button sitting there in the corner on the top left-hand side, and that is going to give you all of your camera prompts you can select and bring up, and you can go crazy with how you want to look at everything. You can turn this off in the menu settings for presentation so that there will be no camera prompt at all in the corner when you spectate a match. So you could turn the HUD off, you could turn the camera options off. So if you already know how to use the camera without looking at it, then you have full free range and nothing is on screen. And remember, spectating a camera, you get totally different options of anywhere you want, plus your free roam for your camera. But what you can also do is hit the hold button and the D-pad in the direction, and that way we can save different camera slots for you. So when you go back, you can toggle and alternate these different camera angles and use them as default. The next tip I want to talk about is General Manager mode. I really like GM mode. It's not for everybody, but for me it works. But one of the things I don't like is that I don't always get the roster set up the way I like. And this takes a little bit of time, but if you want to be able to have a more accurate roster, like a 2024 WWE and mimic what's on TV, if you want to have that draft available to you, and you want to be able to have better matchups available, there's two things that we can do in my GM. When you get started in General Manager mode and you select your GMs, we get to the session settings. Now in here, set it how you like. There's gonna be different rewards if you set the AI difficulty and the game difficulty up. Set your opening budgets really, really high, but then we have auto draft, set that to off, and then we have the draft pool. And what we want is a custom draft pool. You can look at your existing saved draft pools that you have. You can hit copy and save this to a second slot so that all the work is kind of done in there for you, and then you could actually go in and modify the saved slot one you have, number 2, so that if you just want to kind of tweak a few things, maybe add some legends in there as standard. But if we set up a new custom draft pool, there's different statuses for all of the wrestlers that are in the game that you use for your draft pool. So active superstars appear in drafts and contract pools, but are excluded from local roster pools. Inactive superstars are excluded from everything. Contract superstars are available for contracts, but excluded from drafts and local roster pools. And local superstars appear in contract pools and as emergency talent, but are excluded from drafts. So you need to keep this in mind when you are going to put together your custom roster for who is available in the draft. And you also have to have a certain amount of wrestlers made available in the entire draft pool. So one of the unfortunate things with my GM is that you have to use like a lot of the local talent that they generated, like just the generic ones, the generic wrestlers, to fill out the contracted draft pools for later on. If you just set it up where you turn everything off and you only want active WWE talent from like the current roster, it won't let you move forward unless you fill up the contracted pool for like trades and everything after. So what you want to do is filter by males, filter by females, and go through everything and decide who's going to be active on your roster and who's going to be inactive. And this way, the draft pool, when you do the initial draft, you're going to have a really well put together draft pool made available, but it isn't perfect because there are still some instances where certain superstars are not made available day one on the draft, despite them being placed as active. Roman Reigns is usually the culprit for this for me. The odd times is Roman available during the draft. Same with Cody. There are certain superstars that, for whatever reason, they just don't pop up in the draft pool. Now, the other thing that we have to know with my GM and to help you out, to have maybe a little bit more fun and freedom, is going to do with the class system. As you know, when you go through and you set up the draft and you set up all the roster you have, every superstar has a different class, and they are bruisers and cruisers and giants and specialists and fighters. And this will play a role in how the matchups go, how your star rating is overall in your matches, but it's not the be all end all. That was the case with 2K22 and 23, where the class system played a pivotal heavy role in how your brand was doing and how the results were for your matches. This year, it's one component. It's not everything. If you're setting up your roster, you don't have to have everyone setting up these matches for a cruiser versus a giant to just get the best match results. It's going to deal with their popularity, how they are performing overall. There are more factors this year into putting together a really well-rounded show, as well as the show layout, design, how that is progressing. So there's more to it than the class system. So what you need to do is that when you are setting up a brand new draft and you're going to go through your draft pool, open up one of your existing draft pools if you have it. And if you haven't done one, then go and do this by scratch. And do what I said before, which is set up everybody as active, that you want active for the roster, and turn everybody else off. And then you're going to need to spend about 10 minutes here and go through the class of everybody and change them all to specialist. By changing them to specialist, they're not going to weaken your overall show performance all that much, because specialists are pretty useful and versatile in your weekly shows. And if you change everyone to specialist, now it's a more even playing field across all shows that you're competing with. So it takes out the issue of having to do a cruiser versus a giant just to get a better matchup. Now you will have a little bit more freedom when you want to set up matches on a weekly basis that make more sense for the game and the matches in the show you're putting together. Okay, let's talk about tag team matches. Tag team matches have seen an improvement this year with the AI logic and how they perform during a match, but you also have more control now over the partner, your tag team partner, in the matches itself. When you have somebody up on the apron, you're going to be able to press different buttons on the left trigger and the D-pad together to prompt your partner. So if you press L1 and right on the D-pad, it will attack the other member on the apron on the opposing team. They'll get off the apron, they'll run around the side, and they'll perform an attack and take them out. This is very handy in tag team matches, multi-man tag team matches, and in my faction when you need some extra help. If you press L1 plus left on the D-pad, your partner is going to go and retrieve a weapon and slide it into the ring. If you press L1 and up on the D-pad, they're going to go and remove the turnbuckle pad. By the way, turnbuckle pads, the AI, if you have managers ringside, they pull these things off way too much. So hopefully that gets patched. But your AI tag team partner, they will go and they will remove the turnbuckle for you, which is great because it's going to be able to do some more damage to them when they're tossed into the corner. And then if you press L1 and down, they're also going to retrieve another weapon for you under the ring. And that's not all. There's a lot more cool stuff in 2K24 that we found out. So click this video right here because we got more stuff we found out about the game that might help you out. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.